Hey there, and welcome to today's heat session. We are currently in a meeting room at our new PROBAT Go manufacturing facility. As you might see through the window behind me, we have completed our manufacturing floor completely new to increase product quality and production capability. But now coming back to heat. Today's topic is about exhaust gas treatment. And as we are live, you are highly welcome to transmit your questions and we will try to answer them directly. Have you ever thought of being sustainable and cost-effective at once? We from PROBAT thought about this combination already a quarter of a century ago. With this goal in mind, we took the development to develop a completely new exhaust gas treatment system, the Proforte. Today, we guide you through the history of the development, show you details of the technology behind it, and give you an outlook what are the future developments coming up. Therefore, let's get started. My name is Oliver. I'm Head of Product Management at PROBAT. This is my colleague Dirk, Executive Vice President Sales. So, Dirk.
Okay, thanks for the introduction, Oliver. One thing I have to add, we are not wearing masks today because we are both fully vaccinated. Everybody in the room here is vaccinated and we have a fresh test, so that's why we are not wearing masks. Okay, then let's continue. And why is exhaust gas cleaning such an important topic today? So why do we talk about the Proforte? So if we are reading the news, if we talk to our customers, we very, very often see that sustainability is a big topic in our market. Together with that, under this big headline, we have the topics like emission, reduction of energy consumption, rules and regulation, emission limits. So we all know that at least industrial coffee roasting requires fossil fuel, like gas. Typically, industrial roasters are gas-fired. So you have one burner to roast and you have another burner to clean the roast exhaust gas. And there is a big potential that we can use. So we can save energy, we can reduce emissions, we can apply to rules and regulations by the use of Proforte. That is just the right thing to do, I believe. And that's also why governments, they come up with new regulations like emission limits. Just if we talk about Germany as an example, the new TA Luft, which regulates the coffee industry's regulations, emissions, we have new stricter values. So in the past we had as a maximum average value 50 milligrams total carbon per cubic meter as a limit. Now, since December this year, we have 20 milligrams. So that means most of the industrial coffee roasters, they run into problems. They need to consider to do something different because not all of the old installed afterburners are able to meet this emission limit. So that's why it is important, and we talk about this. So let's look into this Proforte technology. We start with some history first and show you our first installation at our valued customer Rombouts in Belgium. Please listen to Bob van den Bosch.
Hello, good afternoon all. My name is Bob van den Bos. I'm Production Director at Rombouts Coffee. Before we go deeper into the Proforte, I would like to introduce the company a little bit. So Rombouts Coffee is established in 1896, so we're 125 years, the company is 125 years old. It all started with Frans Rombouts, who rented a coffee roaster. This roaster, he roasted the first coffee beans, and then he shipped the coffee beans with his bike through Antwerp. In 1958, during the World Expo in Brussels, Rombouts introduced a one-cup filter solution. It was actually quite innovative. It was the first single-serve coffee solution for 1 cup of coffee. Even today, we produce these 1-cup filters, although we are heavily working on a new product which was introduced in the market last year at a home compostable solution. So meaning you can throw it at your own place in the waste bin for the compost. In 1966, Rombouts even got the title of preferred supplier for the Belgian royal family. Rombouts is known for the quality of the coffee in the cup, which is actually one of our strategic points that we pay a lot of attention to. The site here in Belgium is 25,000 square meter, of which 10,000 is used for production activities. Besides the factory here in Antwerp, near Antwerp, in Artselaar, we also have a factory near Nice in France, which is quite a big factory as well, and a smaller factory in Switzerland. So there are 3 production units producing for the group of Rombouts. Here we are in front of one of our 2 roasters. As you can see, this is a drum roaster, which is used for a slow roasting process. Again, this is for the quality of the cup, the quality of the coffee in the cup that we want to achieve. We here at Rombouts don't recuperate a lot of energy yet, as also there was a fear of not having the best quality inside the cup. I understand from PROBAT that there are better technical solutions now compared to the past. So this might be an interesting project for the coming years to work on to recuperate more energy as we do today. We roast around 4,000 to 5,000 tons of coffee a year, and which we pack in many different forms of packaging, like tin cans, soft packs, hard packs, our filters as discussed, and the pots and the pots. As explained, we have 2 drum roasters which are used for a slow roasting profile. One of them was built in 2003 and one of them was built in 2007. The one in 2003, which is actually that one, in that installation there was chosen to use a Proforta system. This Proforta system, in those days, was actually the first one in the world that was installed. It was a prototype, and over the years, from time to time, there were troubles with too much exhaust. So when Rombouts was here and installed their roasting furnaces, they wanted to be sure that there was no or as little as possible exhaust that could affect the neighborhood, the people who live nearby. During that same period, PROBAT was looking for a company where they could prove their technology, and this prototype was the consequence of that. In the beginning, there was, as it is with a prototype, some minor issues of certain dimensions that needed to be adapted, but I can say that PROBAT helped to improve that installation, and a couple of years later we bought a second installation at the time that our old furnace was replaced by a new one. So now there are two Proforta systems, one on each roaster, and as explained, it is a slow roasting furnace, so meaning that this batch process can be tackled with a Proforta system. I have to say that once a year these installations are cleaned, mainly the tubing, but besides that, until now there are no big maintenance efforts that were needed. Even if you know that this prototype installation was estimated for a life cycle of 7 years, and it was built in 2003, so meaning we are almost at 20 years of life that this system is working. Also from the exhaust, the amount of allowed particles that can be sent into the air are heavily regulated in Flanders, and these systems are extremely well working on that. Even for a coffee roaster, there is nearly no smell of coffee left when we are standing here next to these systems. So here we are, near the end of my presentation. The only thing I want to add also is one of the properties of this Proforta system is that the bed where the exhaust is cleaned, this bed needs to be kept on a high temperature level. So the system uses some energy even during weekends and during the nights when there's no production. This bed needs to be kept on temperature, which can be done by gas or electricity. So at the end, I want to thank you all for your attention. I hope it was a little bit interesting to get to know a little bit more about Rombouts and the systems that we use here. If you have any questions, I'm available to answer them later during the session or afterwards. Thank you very much.
Wow, that was a nice clip. Thanks to Rombouts for all the efforts they have taken. For us as manufacturer, it's quite important to have in early stages customers that want to invest in future technologies. That's the only way how we really can realize these kind of projects. And we are quite grateful not only for the clip, but also in the trust they have in PROBAT's ingenuity. But it's not only about customers we have to collaborate with, it's also with technical partners, especially if we are talking about ideas that are not directly our core technology. These kind of partners we have found in Sweden at MagTech. Normally, we invited them here to be here live as a session, but because of the latest Corona developments, we thought it would not be the best idea that they travel across Europe. But we pre-produced some clips that you get an impression with what people we are working with and what are they thinking about what we have achieved in the past. So, I hand over to Sweden. Martin, please.
Hello, my name is Martin Paulsson. I'm Managing Director of MagTech Systems AB in Göteborg. Just want to mention some words. We have really been working together with PROBAT for so many years now, and on the way I don't know how many projects we have delivered together. And I think we started already, I think it was 1999, where we started with a test module together in the Benelux countries, doing some trials together. And on the way, I honestly don't know how many units we have together integrated into the roasting application today. What I can say is that we have really together developed a great concept how we can set up the systems together here over the years. We have learned quite a lot on the way, starting more like an odor thing here to clean odors of emissions, but at the same time coming out with a system that is really running self-sustain on the emissions we have from the roasting process, and see suddenly other benefits here also, how we can use the extensive heat from the production, how we can develop that back to the process basically, and make it even more sustainable, the system. I have a great team behind here over the years. You don't get younger, but it's really great to join this travel together with PROBAT over the years, now working plus 20 years together, really. And if we wouldn't have had this terrible COVID situation, I think we should have had a great party together, really celebrating our long-term cooperation here, working together over 20 years here. That would be really a pleasure. I think the future looks really bright now onwards, and I really hope that we will continue working for at least another 20 years together. I'm pretty sure about that.
Hello, my name is Torbjörn Sanderöd and I'm engineering manager in the Gothenburg office for Megtech Systems AB. And I'm responsible for the team who delivers the projects to the PROBAT applications. And we have been delivering projects for many years and together with PROBAT, and we have done a lot of development together with the PROBAT team. And the roasted processes are quite challenging for an RTO unit, but we, together with the PROBAT team, we have managed to, through the years, develop a good functioning system which delivers and is robust and can take care of the high variation in flows and high variations in temperatures, which are challenging for an RTO unit. And that makes it very interesting and also challenging, and it's a good driver to always have something to develop, and that's what we continuously do together with the PROBAT team. It's very inspiring to be part of the development of this process and the RTO system together with the roaster system. And as I said before, it has been very challenging through the years and to improve it, but I think we have a very good and robust system today which are working very fine together. Yeah, we find it fun to work together with PROBAT team. The team spirit is very good, and we find PROBAT to be very supportive in our actions, and I think it is vice versa as well, and so it's very good team feeling, and we really enjoy that.
Welcome back, and thanks to Sweden. We from PROBAT found it also very nice to work with Megtech together. Even in struggling times, which is always the case with new developing products, we always find solutions with our good partners and also our customers. It was a great experience. But now it's time to show you a more deep dive into the technology of the system. You can see here on the screen there's a picture of a Proforte system. It's not a small part, it's quite a big one, to be honest. We have three main parts. Up front you have the piping, some valves and a fan. On the left side you have the buffer tank. I go into the technical explanation afterwards, and the magic happens on the right side here. We've prepared a small schematic to visualize what is happening. You find all the things I mentioned up front also here. So that is a main component where there is a ceramic bed which is heated up. You have a buffer tank and some piping and a recirculation line. As I said, in the middle is a ceramic bed. This is heated up front before the system is running up to 1000 degrees centigrade in the middle of the ceramic bed. Then from the side comes the non-cleaned exhaust air from the roasters, and it's forced because we have valves up front and behind the system. It's forced to run through the heated up ceramic bed, and there the oxidization takes place. There is still some energy left in the non-cleaned gases. This is oxidized within the bed, and the energy is transmitted or is kept in the bed. Therefore, there is no additional burner or anything else needed to keep the temperature at 1000 degrees. It's a self-sustaining system. As I said, the air is cleaned within this ceramic bed, then it goes through the piping directly to the environment. You see, here are some valves. These are necessary to operate the buffer tank, because there is one question you might have asked. Why do we have these valves up front and behind the system? That is because of a very special case that happens here. Because of the energy that is still in the chemicals left, the area of highest temperature is shifting by time. And to prevent it shifting to below or to the upper part of it, we have to switch the valves. Therefore, we have a kind of intermediate state where you have an overflow of the non-cleaned gases and is mixing up with the cleaned gases. In this state, the valves here, this valve is closing, so there is no dirty air going into the environment, but you put the non-cleaned air into the buffer tank to save it, let's say, for later. When we have finished this intermediate state and both valves are closed again, you see the dirty air is forced through the bed, it's cleaned again, and then we can open the valves to put it to the environment, and the overpressure here will empty the buffer tank with the non-cleaned gas, and this is recirculated within the system because, as I said before, there's still energy left. That makes it a highly efficient system. This is more or less the process explained, and that's what we think of the system and how we think it's running, but I think it's also time to cover again the opinion of our corporate partners from MECTEC. So we're heading back to Sweden. Martin again.
I also want to mention the real great benefits with our products here together, that we also don't produce any thermal NOx in operation, and also that we clean all CO emissions that really comes from the roasting application. I think it's a great advantage of that. With high destruction efficiency, we really make good systems together. I think with the products we have together here, with our benefit of using the electrical heating into the system, that we can get away from the potential fossil fuel usage in this kind of equipment. I think we can really develop that concept great together and make it even more CO2 neutral.
Thanks again to Sweden. So also our partners are quite convinced of the system we have developed together. There are several big benefits we take out of the system. So it's a patented technology we have now experienced for over 20 years. We can guarantee the lowest emissions and also a very low energy consumption. And as Martin has said, we are now also able to have the system fully electrified, which is also a benefit to get away from fossil fuels. Yeah? But these are just the things to the system. And we have done some more development for the last years and also are still developing day by day in the future. So Dirk, what you can tell us about the latest steps?
Yeah, thanks Oliver, thanks Martin to explain the functionality of the Proforta system. So how does that work together with the roaster? Yeah, let me illustrate that.
I'm just grabbing the camera.
Yeah, maybe you can grab that camera, and I'm trying to draw it large enough. So let's say we have a drum roaster, typical drum roaster, let's say Neptune 3000 with a cyclone, the fan, and then the roaster is going to the exhaust treatment system. Maybe the roaster has a recirculation system. So here on is the connection with the Proforte unit. So we do have the fan, we do have the combustion chamber where we have the ceramic material with probably 1000 degrees centigrade core temperature, and the exhaust, and when, like Oliver explained, when the poppet valves are switching, we go into the buffer tank. So gas is injected here in case there is not enough energy coming from the roasting process, and we have a temperature difference of round about only roughly 50 degrees C. So that means the raw gas from the roaster comes with approximately 200 degrees C to 230 degrees centigrade temperature. It's going through this ceramic bed, is totally cleaned, and leaves with roughly 50 degrees more. So maximum 280 degrees centigrade. And that's, there you obviously see we are saving energy with comparison to catalytic afterburners or comparing it to thermal afterburners. And we have higher destruction efficiency. So this is what we did, for example, with Rombouts, at Rombouts in 2002. We always had combination one roaster, one Proforte, maximum flexibility. But we did some further developments and combined multiple roasters with one Proforte unit. Like you can see here, I quickly draw it up, not very detailed. But here comes a second stream of roast exhaust gas, and it is very important to have no negative influence when, for example, one roaster is only running, the other roaster is in idle mode or not in operation due to maintenance or whatever. And on the other hand, both roasters can run, and probably both roasters can quench at the same time. And you have very high airflows going to the exhaust gas treatment system. So that was a challenge, and we solved this challenge by adding another buffer tank or a buffered pipe system, which is related to the outlet or connected to the outlet of the Proforte. And by measurement of the airflows and the pressures inside of the system, you do not have any negative influence on the production. So no stops and waiting for exhaust gas cleaning. And of course, you also have no negative influence on the coffee product, of course, which is very important. So that is one important step we made. And our customer Delica in Switzerland, they installed, or there we did the first installation with 2 roasters on one Proforte system, but not 2 drum roasters. At Delica, we operate a centrifugal roaster and a Jupiter roaster on one Proforte. Click. Okay. So next innovation, and that was probably not so far away. So that was in 2019 when we did that, and in the meantime we had additional installations worldwide where we even combined 3 roasters with one Proforte exhaust gas system to clean the roast exhaust gas. Let's show you another example of a further development. It was already mentioned by Martin and also by Oliver that we have a fully operated electrical Proforte system. So with a fully operated electrical Proforte system, you can reduce your greenhouse gases by 100% because if you use green, sustainable electrical power. And that makes it interesting. So here we have one example again with a Neptune drum roaster, cooler, exhaust gas system, and we connect it to a Proforte, what you see here. So the raw gas is coming in to the fan of the Proforte, goes through the ceramic bed, 1000 degrees centigrade. That's the buffer tank, and the exhaust goes into the open. So that's basically a system comparable to Rombouts. But what we did now with this electrical Proforte, we combined it with our well-known green coffee preheating technology. So the preheater, that could be another heat session, but the preheater is using exhaust gas from the catalyzer usually, which is pretty hot, to preheat the coffee before the batch of coffee goes into the roasting chamber. So with the preheater, we save roughly around about 20% of energy consumption, and at the same time, we are increasing the throughput by 20%, roughly, more or less. So the challenge was to combine the Proforte system, energy saving, with the preheating system, energy saving. The solution to it is to do a combination pipe, what we show here, hot air, maybe 280 degrees, relatively low temperature, hot air, goes to the preheater, and to avoid condensation in the preheater, We have electrical heating units that are these little flanges here. These are all connected to electrical heaters. And with these heaters, we can heat up the airflow to the preheater if we need it. Typically, during normal operations, there is enough heat coming from the Proforte that can be utilized here in the preheater. But if you start up the roaster in the morning, or if you have a special recipe that you want to achieve, you can use the preheaters and always stay above dew point to avoid condensation. So that system is installed and just started up 2 weeks ago in Central Europe. And we're looking forward to get measurements of energy consumption. And I believe that is very, very future orientated for customers, regions that need to achieve low NOx, low C emissions, and to reduce fossil fuel consumption.
Wow, thanks. Thanks a lot, Dirk. Yeah, I would say that was a brief and fast and quick journey through the development, through the technology. And we all can say that we are proud to say that the Proforta system is the best exhaust gas cleaning system in class for the coffee industry. We are quite proud of it. So there are several benefits. Hopefully it was interesting for you. Now we have to come to an end of the heat session and also the heat series. And because we are quite near to Christmas, yeah, we have a surprise.
Oh,
Dirk,
thank you,
just
Oliver.
catch it. So, but before we really say Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, there's one thing I have to add. This is the last heat session, as I said, and this is the last chance that I can honor one of the main drivers of the heat session today, the unsung hero of it. He's the guy who's run the technology and all this, the setup behind the scene. You have not seen it yet, him yet. It's Simon from our marketing team, who just showed him to you. Hi, Simon.
Hello.
Thank you very much for your work. It wouldn't be possible without you.
Yeah.
So that's all, folks, for this year, for Heat, for Pop-Up. Hopefully we see us back in 2022. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Bye.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.